Donald Trump has remarked that being president of the United States is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. Statistically, he's right. A U.S. president has more than a 1 in 7 chance of being injured or killed by an assassin, and that's with Secret Service protection. The 2024 campaign, of course, made all that very obvious to everybody. President Trump, was the target of not one but 2 assassination attempts. First, there was the attempt on his life at his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, with a bullet just miraculously, barely missing his head. Then there was the gunman lying in wait 2 months later as Trump made rounds at his golf course in Florida. That was last September. Just days after that, Trump posted on social media that Iranian state-sponsored assassins were also trying to kill him. Quote, "Big threats on my life by Iran," he posted. "Moves were already made that didn't work out, but they will try again. Not a good situation for anyone. I am surrounded by more men, guns, and weapons than I have ever seen before." This wasn't just talk. In November of last year, the Biden Justice Department disclosed an Iranian murder-for-hire plot to kill President Trump, charging a man who said he had been tasked by an Iranian official with planning the entire hit. That was clearly still top of mind for the president as he ordered strikes on the country's nuclear facilities. This was his response to a reporter just last Friday when asked how Iran would respond to any military action.
You're even in danger talking to me right now. Do you know that? You are in danger talking to me right now.
We're now learning that threats to President Trump's life by Iran, however, go much further back than last year. Exclusive reporting by the National Review reveals that Trump had to pull out of a visit to Hungary in 2022, months before he launched his presidential re-election campaign, because of concerns that the Secret Service couldn't keep him safe from threats by Iran. Joining me now for more on this is Audrey Fahlberg. She's a political reporter for the National Review. Audrey, it's a fascinating story that you have out today. I want to get into the details of it, but first of all, sources close to President Trump have made it clear to you that all of these Iranian plots to kill Trump had nothing to do with his decision this week to bomb Iran.
Yes, that's a really important distinction here because, sources close to the president suspect and speculate, of course, that this had the effect of hardening his foreign policy resolve when it comes to Iran in terms of underscoring the reality that they wanted to assassinate a president of the United States. And if they're willing to do that and greenlight that decision, what will they do with a nuclear weapon? But as you mentioned, sources close to the president made sure to told me to kind of steer clear from any suggestion from people who are trying to say this is personal for Trump. He just wants to get back at them because of those murder-for-hire plots that were eventually foiled, thank goodness, and that, White House decision-making is not based on something that personal, but goes back to his foreign policy. And his claims that date back to his book in 2011 saying that he really strongly believes that Iran simply cannot have a nuclear bomb.
So talk to me, tell us about the earlier plots. We all know that, the Biden administration charged somebody. Trump announced last year. But actually, the Iranian plots to kill President Trump go back much further than that. Obviously, they date back to when he ordered the hit on Soleimani in 2020. But you write about an incident in 2022 when Trump was supposed to go to Hungary for this CPAC meeting, but only his team ended up going. What did they find out?
So that's an important, you mentioned Soleimani, that's the most important thing here. Ever since 2020, when he ordered that strike during his first term, he was on high alert that the Iranians wanted to avenge that military commander's death because he was such an important military figure in Iran. And ever since Trump left office in January 2021, after his first term, there was a lot of concern among his inner team, his smaller team, when he was deciding whether to run for re-election about the state of Secret Service and how much protection that he was actually getting. So in May 2022, he was weighing whether to go to that conservative conference in Budapest, Hungary, but they decided against it because of concerns that the Secret Service could not keep him safe. So they ended up not going to that conference, which really suggests that this was a serious concern. There was always a latent threat, but this, once they started getting more intel, it really started to heat up, especially amid concerns that he wasn't getting enough Secret Service protection, and that really got a lot worse throughout the campaign.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.